Okay, welcome back. Now, I'm going to start doing these series of videos that starts in August today and ends normally around August 28th when the first college football game starts. This series of videos is me taking these big games, starting with the big games and then working my way down to smaller games and breaking them down and seeing, in my way, and me predicting who's going to win and seeing how much I'm right. But so I'm going to start with the biggest games and then go down to the smallest and then work my way from there until August 28th. I'll probably do one video a day, maybe two. So we're going to start with Georgia and Clemson. This is probably the biggest game of week one and one of the probably the biggest game of the year, of the regular season at least. Georgia and Clemson, both bringing back a lot. Clemson loses Trevor Lawrence, their star player from last year, into the NFL draft. Clemson brings back all their defense. Georgia brings about just about all their defense as well, and they bring back a good quarterback in JT Daniels. Kirby Smart didn't start him, but later in the year they figured out he was a great quarterback and chose him, and he showed out. Maybe had Georgia put him in during the Florida and Alabama games, maybe they could have given those two teams a good game. But JT Daniels is in year two after his injury, coming to transferring to Georgia, and Georgia and this is going to be a great game. Um, Clemson's quarterback DJ, I'm not going to say his last name because I will just completely butcher it. He's a good quarterback. We saw how he played against Notre Dame, and we're not going to mention how that did because that was basically his first start against a really good Notre Dame team. Notre Dame, however you want to pronounce it. That was not who he's going to be this season. He is going to be improved. He is going to be better. His accuracy is going to be better. He's going to have better decision making. That was the simple first start mistakes that he made when he played against Notre Dame. Um, Now the advantage here in when it comes to quarterback play, Georgia has because JT Daniels has already started a few games late in the season. We saw how he played against Cincinnati, which was probably one of the best games Georgia had. We saw how he played then. We saw how he played against Missouri. He played good in these games. His accuracy was good. He made good decisions. He had a good deep ball. He needs to work on it a little bit. But JT Daniels is the better quarterback when it comes to it. I'm probably the only one that says that has that opinion that JT Daniels is the better of the two quarterbacks going into this game. This game obviously has huge playoff impact. Whoever wins, I mean, if whoever wins, both teams could eventually get into the playoff, considering how their schedule is, and if this game's close, if Clemson beats Georgia by a field goal, and Georgia wins out the rest of their games and wins the SEC title, Georgia could get in to the college football playoff along with Clemson. So, and likewise with vice versa with Georgia beating Clemson. But if it's let's say Georgia or Clemson let's say Georgia blows out Clemson like 52 to 24, then and it doesn't matter if Clemson wins out the rest of their games, Clemson might not get into the playoff considering how bad Georgia beat Clemson. Defense is obviously going to be a big part of this game. Offense, I don't know how many points are going to be scored. I don't think it's going to be a lot, but it might come down to the point where either offense has to make a big play in order to clinch the game. Like, let's say it's tied and there's like a minute left in the game. And offense is going to have to make a play in order to not go into overtime and win the game. I expect Georgia's, offense to be a little better than Clemson's. Clemson has a good offense. Wasn't that good in the semifinal last year, but they were going up against Ohio State defense. But I do think Georgia is going to be the better team in this scenario. I Georgia has a bad habit of choking leads. So if Georgia has a big lead in the half against Clemson, Georgia needs to learn to play a second half in order to win this game because We saw how they played in the 2018 SEC title. They choked away a lead against Alabama. We saw how they played against Alabama in the 2018 national title. They choked away a 13-0 lead. I mean, Georgia has a bad habit of choking these leads, and they need to not do that in this game because if they give Clemson the chance to come back, Clemson will do that. Clemson fights till 0-0. So Georgia needs to play all 4 quarters and all 60 minutes in order to win this game. This is not going to be a game where you can just score 52 points in the first half and just let everything go for the second half. You can't. I don't know if this second string is not going to be in this game. So you have to play this entire game. I don't think it's going to be high scoring. It's not going to be like the SEC title from last year against Florida and Alabama. It's probably going to be a low scoring game involving more defense because both teams have really good defenses. Clemson's bringing back all their players, and I think Georgia is as well. It may be one exception, but Georgia's got a good defense. Historically, they've had good defenses, but Clemson also has a good defense. So one of these teams' offenses has to be better than the other, and I think Georgia has that advantage, considering their quarterback play would be a lot better. And Kirby Smart is just amazing when it comes to running the ball. Not exactly when it comes to quarterback play. He's not good at coaching that. But running the ball, he's really good at that. He's also good at coaching defense because he was the defensive coordinator at Alabama. So I think Georgia has the advantage over here when it comes to offense, and I don't know about defense. I think Clemson might have the advantage when it comes to that, but I think Georgia's going to win. I think Georgia's going to win this game. It's probably going to be a very tight and close game. Maybe a field goal, 4 points, six. I don't know if it's going to be more of a touchdown, but I think Georgia wins this game. Now Clemson could easily win this game as well, depending on how Georgia plays in the second half. Even if Georgia doesn't have a lead in the half, it depends on how Georgia plays. If they play all 4 quarters and play like their life depends on it, which it kind of does, Kirby Smart's on the hot seat when it comes to these games, then Georgia will win this game. If Georgia doesn't play like this is an important game, they're definitely going to lose, and they're probably going to get blown out if they just take this game lightly, and I don't expect them to. But I expect Georgia to win. I expect it to be a very close game and a good game, and probably college game day is obviously going to be there. This is one of the biggest games of the year, and it's the biggest game of week one. There are a lot of good games week one, but I think Georgia's going to win this game. Um, so we'll see how this goes. But probably a field goal or probably not any more than a field goal. Not much. If it is more than a field goal, it's not going to be by much. The most I would say is probably 6 points or seven, not six max probably. It could be a 1 point game. Either way, it's going to be a good game. It's going to grab a lot of attention, and a lot of people are going to be watching this game. So there's going to be a lot of eyes on this game. But yeah, that's my opinion. This is how I think it's going to go. I think Georgia's going to take this game, and these two teams could be in the playoff at the end of the season. They could both be. They're gonna go into the game ranked top five, obviously. Both of these teams have to be ranked in the top to five. That's what I predict is they're both going to go in the top five in this game, and they're probably going to finish in the top five, top 10 at the end of the season, unless Georgia loses to Alabama again or Florida. Florida might surprise them. I don't see anybody else beating Georgia. I also don't see anybody else beating Clemson unless North Carolina surprises them at the ACC title game, but I don't see North Carolina pulling that upset yet. Maybe they could. I don't think I see anybody else beating Clemson. Probably not. They don't play Notre Dame, so they there's nobody else I think that can beat them. But I think Georgia's gonna win. This is how this game's gonna probably go. Clemson could win easily, but yeah, I'm gonna be doing these videos, and I'll probably be going down the list of week one. Then I'll do the same thing with week two after week one's over with. But yeah, this is my opinion how it's gonna go, and I'll see you on the next video.